name is Arisa Ugu. Welcome to another episode of The Bridge. And today on the show, we'll be tackling raising capital for your small business. Stay tuned. So today we're tackling raising capital, and we have two amazing guests in the studio with us. Mr. Yinka Adegboye, he's the head of strategy and corporate transformation at the Bank of Industry. Wouldn't you like to know him? And we have Bugwemi Fregene, aka Chef Fregs, our celebrity chef / food entrepreneur. Bugwemi, tell us about your brand or your business and the struggles that you've had with raising capital or not.
Chef Fregs is a private chef catering company that is growing every day and becoming more and more other things. So Chef Fregs at this point in business, we're transitioning from just being that personal chef brand, because beyond our personal clients, we are getting more and more, people are challenging us to do more. And we've responded to some of those, challenges, so to speak, and we've overcome, So we're looking to diversify and expand. So our demand is really great now. So the next step is how to meet that demand. So yes, we make good money already, or we're doing fine as our small business model, but now the scale is getting larger. But raising capital has always been, I've never had to raise capital before. I've grown organically, and everything that I have, and the rent, the space we've gotten, the equipment, everything has just been from organic business. But every time I think money, I've spoken to people like at the bank, and it's always like, yeah, you take a loan, but there's a high rate and all of that. So I'm always very discouraged by that. And I'm always cracking my head and praying and hoping the uncle, the auntie that I can speak to to give money.
But if I had to ask you, because I think that a lot of creative entrepreneurs, the biggest problem that they have when it comes to raising capital is that they're not able to properly articulate what they need the funding for. So we'll speak to Mr. Adegboye very soon, but you need to know how the funding that you're trying to raise is going to affect your bottom line. Because whether you're getting the money from a bank or, an angel investor, they still want to know what kind of returns they're going to make. And for them to know that, you need to be able to say, if I borrow this money, this is exactly what I'm going to use it to do.
So answer your question.
This is how I will turn a profit so that I can make money and also have the ability to pay you back. So what exactly would you be raising the funding for?
Well, to answer that question, I've come to learn in business, that being a creative is sometimes at a point in business is not even what is needed. You need to, get very educated in structuring your business and organizing, creating an organizational culture so that your business has a definition. So that if a Mr. Yinka Adegboye walks into my organization, he has a good idea of what we're about. So even if I can't articulate my what I need funding for, because a creative entrepreneur will just tell you, oh, I need this to build my studio, I need this to do my business. Okay, yes, you need that to do that, but how is it going to make you money? Okay, so there's a product we're working on at Chef Fregs that brings, because Chef Fregs, we're this fine dining brand. I want to take that fine dining to a more commercial level. So what I'm going to tell you, Mr. Yinka, is so I may not give you the way RSA will explain to you, but what I can tell you is we have a product that has a more mass appeal. So this is our layman projections we've made. What do we need? We need more ovens. We need more cookers that cost millions and millions of naira. And so that we can start and hit the ground running, we need this, and we can churn out 22,000 meals a month. And this is what we're going to make. This is our cost. Because as a creative, I know how much tomato is in the market. He doesn't know. So I'll do all that math and show him. He can now say, okay, what you've done is all right, but I now need you to do this and this. And I'll just go back and fill up and, hand that over to him and show him how I'm going to make my profit.
Okay, that's really great. So, sir, can you tell us how BOI can help entrepreneurs like Chef Fregs to scale their business?
Okay, thanks again for having me. I've been speaking with Froshed before we started, and he has taken the first step. He has actually started business, so he has a track record. What we do as a development finance institution is we support the industrial sector and we provide finance and, of course, business advisory services. If I may just step back a bit to just talk about people who have ideas and who want to go into business. That's people where you've been before now. It's very important to educate people in terms of how to start. usually the advice is people should start from, there's a concept called the 3Fs, where you have to seek for support from your family, friends, and fools. What they call them fools, because these are people who would provide you funds on emotional ground. And they do not, really get you to sign sign some document, to be binding, because they are ready to support you even if you fail. So if you take that first step, you've leveraged your family, friends, and fools, and get started. So as you grow, then you begin to look at, okay, now you want to expand, like he wants to do now. He wants to expand his business. And the next level usually is to go for equity financing. By equity financing, we're saying, okay, you're not going to be paying interest. These are people who would support you, like she talked about venture capital, people who would bring in money into your business, own a bit of equity. Well, and that's some area where we seem to have a bit of challenge. People are not ready to dilute their ownership.
Yeah.
Exactly. So these are people who believe in your idea, not on emotional grounds. You would have to sit and discuss how you would make money, how they will make their money back in terms of dividends. And if that has worked for you and you still want to expand some more, and you've seen that, okay, now you can go for debt financing. Debt financing is, you get funds from an institution and you pay interest. So you need to stabilize properly to know that, okay, you can cover your cost. Apart from your operating cost, then you can pay interest, on loans. So those are the 3 steps. So coming back to Bank of Industry, since we're talking about millennials, young people who have ideas, who have started business, we have quite a number of products that we've put together to help out in this area. First of all, I'll talk about the Graduate Entrepreneurship Fund. This is a 2 billion naira fund that we put together with NYSC.
Okay. And
young people who are in their service year can borrow up to 2 million naira. And of course, when you start the discussion and it goes into, okay, so what collateral do I have to bring? What is the interest rate? As a development finance institution, we provide finance at
cheap
9% interest rate. Of course, the average in the industry is 22, 25. And also we provide finance on a long-term basis, medium to long-term. Most commercial banks wouldn't do that because they get short-term funds.
What's your own long-term? 5 years,
3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And for big projects, there's some large projects that we go into that it takes several years for them to even get started before they start making money. So in some cases, we've done 10 years. Okay,
let's talk a little bit about the graduate entrepreneurial products. So they can borrow up to 2 million. So what kind of collateral? Doesn't matter the kind of business? Do they have to have collateral, and how much of that 2 million do they have to have in collateral?
Okay, we having discussed, we've looked at what takes place abroad in other world-class development finance institutions. So we put together this program, and what they need to provide is they have a certificate from where they've graduated from. The partnership with NYC is to pledge, their certificates with Bank of Industry as collateral. Okay. That's on one part. And you also need to provide 10% as deposit of the value of the loan that you're seeking for.
Okay.
And finally, you need to also provide a guarantor. We started by saying, okay, they should provide 2 guarantors, but of course we know it's difficult. So we've come down to say we would accept 1 guarantor, I've talked about the guarantee. And for the interest rate, we've given out some funds, and people are struggling to pay back even at 9%.
Even at 9%?
Yes, even at 9%.
How do you evaluate their business plans? So aside from meeting all the criteria, all the other criteria, how do you evaluate what business ideas make sense, for you? Okay,
we've segmented for our micro, small, and medium enterprises framework. We've identified 44 clusters. These are clusters that if you, in China, in India, in Malaysia, it has worked a lot for them because one size doesn't fit all. So for someone who is in the food business or for someone who is into carpentry or something, the structure of their loan will be different. So we have those 44 clusters and we've developed products along those lines. But we're not strict on just those clusters. If you come in a sort of business,
a viable idea.
Exactly. And the process through which we shortlist the beneficiaries is you apply online, right? And once you get, confirmed your details, we check out your background to confirm that you actually went to those schools that you've talked about. Your identity is confirmed as well. We then shortlist you to go through a training program, which is an online training program at no cost to the candidate. So even at the end of the day, you don't sail through or you go through, we don't get that back from you because that's part of being a development finance institution. Then from there, they go through some series of evaluations, tests, and all of that. So at the end of the day, numbers keep scaling down. And at the end of the day, they put together a business plan. Business plan, we know, just give us we have a template that we provided for them, a brief of what you want to do,
your business
or what you're doing, because you don't have to only be a startup to qualify. You can be in business, So after they do that, we evaluate the business plan and basically provide funds. And usually, what we do when we fund businesses is to pay directly to the suppliers, because we've
so that
from experience,
it puts like
exactly
controls in
we can
place.
manage where the funds go.
That
to.
makes a lot of sense. But can I ask something? Because I don't know about you, but every time like the government announces all these like intervention funds and we hear, they're now going to give this sector how many billions of naira, we all get excited. But I think that over a period of time, we kind of struggle to see, it's almost like the people that get the money are ghosts. Like we kind of struggle to see like who is actually, getting these funds. So I don't know if it's that BOI is not doing a good enough job in terms of marketing their case studies, like saying, maybe entrepreneurs like maybe Chef Regs next year, BOI is giving you X amount of money and this is how they've grown, because I feel like it would, like everything in Nigeria, we're very skeptical when we hear about a good thing. But I feel like if you put out more case studies that people recognize or can relate to, they will be able to say, okay, this person got it. So that means it's possible for me as well. So what kind of work are you doing in terms of showcasing your success stories of actual entrepreneurs who have benefited from your funds? And also just, helping us to see like the numbers. So how many people have you actually put through this graduates entrepreneurial fund? So is it up to 1,000? Is it 10,000?
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite a number of questions. Okay, what we do in terms of showcasing the, what we've done in the industrial spaces, we have TV programs where, TV staff, we have on channels, we have on NTA, where they go to our customers who we've provided with funds, and they run you through their industry, their factory, and give an idea of how they've been doing, how BOI has helped them. And we also on YouTube, we have videos, lots of videos on YouTube. Just, YouTube/BOI, showcasing what we've done and providing education, because you get to hear people saying, okay, BOI, do they really provide funds and all of that? But we do our best, because if you think about it, 37 million MSMEs in Nigeria, right? And we're just one institution. We do a lot that we can do, especially when it comes to the youth. Because the youth population in Nigeria, people between the ages of 18 and 35, constitute about 50%, close to 50% of the population. So we've developed, apart from the GEF that I spoke about, we also have one with the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. This is where, people who are not graduates, between the ages of 18 and 35, and they have a minimum of
funds.
Ordinary national diploma, they can access funds. And this fund is actually 10 billion because there's a larger base to deal with in our area. And they can borrow up to 5 million naira. And the same goes for, we also signed an MOU with after graduate school development center, which is an educational institution wherein we plan in the next 5 years to empower at least 1 million youth. And the funds that they will require that we can provide for them will be between 200,000 and 500,000. So we, apart from the TV, the radio jingles that we do, we sponsor programs on TV as well. And we also do lots of interviews. We create sessions.
Do you think maybe the disconnect is, because Chef, hear me on this, do you think maybe the disconnect is you're not doing it through the channels that these millennials or these young people usually, get their information? So maybe social media, having more of a conversation on there so that they see that you're actually doing.
I was going to say that listening to him say all of that, I didn't know that there was. That Bank of Industry still feels
very foreign.
Very foreign. It comes across as very far fetched. And when you hear industry, you think if I don't have this, maybe super big agro something, all these big words that are put together. And if you don't have a big worded thing to come, but listening to you speak, and I also feel like listening to you speak, I can hear you say that you reach a very wide audience that, necessarily necessarily know of. But at the same time, there are a lot of people that have really great, solid ideas who think that they have to depend on their organic growth and uncles and aunties and don't know that they can actually access this. Now, the thing is, again, I'm the average Nigerian who feels like this is all a unicorn discussion because I mean, after this interview I will find you, and when I find you I will make sure I get a loan.
I'll find you.
But the thing is how, like she said, maybe more of a conversation, maybe the BOI needs to really engage more influencers, people like, there should be more testimonials, because I don't think we're believing it when it comes from BOI. I think it will be more believable if when we there see are real testimonies.
Maybe when you actually force the entrepreneurs that you've helped to go and organically speak for you on social media to say, listen, I have a fashion business. BOI did XYZ for me, and in the last 2 years.
But I tell you that we do that.
Yeah, but I haven't really heard. I've heard one BOI testimony.
Okay.
One.
Where was that?
One. Just one. I had one BOI testimony. Somebody needed funding for a project, and she did get it, and yes, and it's doing very well for both brands right now. But I'm just hoping that there will be more testimonies so that people.
So
what I can tell you, what I can tell you is, for the youth, we have the bunch. The bunch is our brand ambassador. I don't know if you guys know that. He does a lot of tweeting and all this social media stuff, and we.
Well, maybe I think I think the question that would now be asking is, okay, he's your brand ambassador.
Yes.
How has your money affected his business?
Well, we funded this business. It makes Gary. Do you know that?
Oh, right.
He does.
He makes Gary, to be honest. But maybe we still see him as the entertainer.
Yeah.
And we see him, and people will just say, "Oh, somebody to let me talk like this millennial." Don't want to loud your brand. But at the same time, maybe he may be the ambassador, but maybe influencers, people who really like someone like RSA. She says, BOI helped me take my book to the next level. Chef Rex appeals to a lot of people who want to do food. People tell me, I don't really cook the kind of food you cook, but I'm inspired by what you're doing. So I have my own audience. You have someone like maybe a filmmaker, for example, who has a short film that maybe makes it to, I don't know, the BAFTAs, for example, and BOI had something to do with that. So many spheres. So because the band right now isn't at the forefront of music right now.
It's just what I'm
So I'm just saying, like, just some people who are just blazing a trail in their...
I hear you. There's always room for improvement, right?
Sure.
I can't say we've done everything. But we do our best. And in the creative industry as well, we've impacted a lot in that area. We've
I have a question to ask before I forget. You talk about business advisory services.
Yes.
How does someone like me or another young entrepreneur, or do you organize forums, do you organize lectures? Because I would want to attend a business advisory. Because like I said, many of us along the way, we buy and sell. Then along the way, we realize, oh my God, we need to, do other things and make our business,
We fund sessions, like I said, capacity building sessions, and you don't have to be a customer, our current customer to attend. Recently, we funded a tomato processing training. Okay. So people had to apply online. We shortlisted and we've completed it. It was in Kano and in Lagos. Currently, we're running in the solid mineral space, because in the solid minerals area, we're very much endowed as a nation. So we have 44 minerals that are commercially available in Nigeria. So we're carrying this out. 1,200 youths will be trained in the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, 200 per geopolitical zone, multiplied by 6. So that's another area where we publicize these things a lot.
Can I get is there like a newsletter we go on your website?
On our website, all this information is right there.
So I wanted to ask a question about collateral because I think a lot of Nigerian entrepreneurs struggle with this. So you have this fantastic business and it's not in anything that needs machinery, because I hear that Bank of Industry gives a lot of loans to people who need machinery for their businesses. So that now becomes the collateral. But let's say you're a fashion designer and you need 5 million naira and you don't have any mommy, daddy, uncle, auntie that can give you an asset that you can use as collateral. All you have is your track record. So you've been in business for say 2 years, 3 years, and you can demonstrate that your business has cash flow, you have a customer base, and it's something that's actually primed for scale, but you don't have access to collateral. What kind of concessions does BOI make for entrepreneurs like this? Because I can imagine that there'll be a lot of people that in a similar situation.
Okay, I agree with you. There are quite a number of people, a lot of people actually, that struggle to provide collateral. When we say collateral, typically we think it's property, buildings and stuff, but I would like to talk about security, which is sort of like a comfort for any financial institution that is providing financial support to any business. For loans that are up to between 0 and 10 million naira, you do not need to provide us with the property.
You're joking.
Yeah.
No collateral, guys. Did you hear that?
That is true. That is true.
But there's a security clause.
Yeah, there is a security. Because we need to be comfortable that, okay, this money will come back. And if it doesn't come back, we have a fallback position. So what we require from such a business person would be to provide us with 10% of the value of the loan that they're trying to access. So for example, if you want 9 million naira, provide us 10% of that, which is 900,000. And upon full payment, you get your deposit. It's a deposit. You get it back. And we would also require a guarantor who can demonstrate that they can cover the outstanding amount if peradventure you default. Yeah. But that being said, we're still flexible in, apart from the interest rate that is 9%, which you can't get anywhere, we provide funds that are lower than even the monetary policy rate, which is, which is double digit as we speak now. We're still working on even bringing down the interest rate, especially for the youth. And we also have a moratorium period, which is, okay, you are starting a business or you're already in business and you want to buy machinery and we'll finance the machinery. We'll give you time to stabilize before you start paying back interest.
So like what, 6 months,
6 months to a year, depending on your, specific situation.
So pretty much you make it, you're encouraging an atmosphere that there's not so much pressure.
Exactly. Because
so you actually want
but you're still held accountable.
But I'd like to ask a question as well, or just kind of reiterate what you've said. But like you said, something is primed for scale. But what if that person doesn't have a sponsor or a guarantor? Is there a way the BOI can now step in and maybe take equity? Because you're talking about equity investments, is there a function of
we have a fund that we've put together. We're trying to be more on the debt side. Because from experience,
it's hard to manage.
It's difficult to manage, But for large businesses that we fund, we actually request that we have a seat on the board.
Super.
And so primarily
what would a large business be?
A large business would be someone trying to access maybe about 1 billion naira, for example. Yeah. So but for the ICT space, we have a fund with Co-Creation Hub.
Okay.
Yeah, then Yaba, so if you have an idea, because in Nigeria, it's very difficult to even, for us as a development finance institution, to get a good understanding of what you want to do. Maybe you're building a software or something. So we'd rather have professionals like CC Hub guys. So we have a fund with them wherein you can access BOI funds through them, indirectly. Apart from that, we also have funds with, sitting with microfinance banks. We also signed a 1 billion naira fund recently with EcoBank, just so that we can have a wider reach, for
But in all your experience, what do you feel like are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make? Like, can you give examples of mistakes and, tips that can help, the viewers when they're applying?
One basic thing that I think is very important is discipline, right? You earlier talked about cash flow, cash flow financing, wherein we look at your business flows and we just take a decision. What small business owners have struggled to do for a long time is to separate their personal from the business. You find people in a business, like you're in the food industry, you find someone in the same business that you're in, and the guy, keeps consuming his food and he's not It's not paying the business.
Yes.
You know, that's really fundamental, and people struggle with that. So even businesses that are not small, we're talking about medium to large businesses, and also control. You know, relinquishing control is a problem. 5% control, you know, you still have 95%, but you don't want that. You know, so those are
like
things
they
that
rather
people
have
need to-
100% of 100,000 as opposed to, you know, 5% of a billion. Yeah.
So those are key issues that, especially small business, especially startups as well, that they should really have at the back of their mind. They should start small and grow with time. Go try to reach out to some venture capitalists, and from there go into debt if they can, you know, cover their cost and pay interest.
Do you think that they also don't really know their numbers? Like, so they have a hard time. A hard time interpreting their financials.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. Well. Honestly speaking, 3 years ago, I don't think I would boldly walk to the Bank of Industry. I was doing okay, but structuring was something that at Chef Freg's, you know, is a big watchword, and learning. And I'll be honest here, I know there may be other businesses that do better, but everybody's hiding behind their nice brands and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is there are a lot of creatives who are not structured enough to know how money, and money does go. You know, money does go. You have so many bills to pay. You have to help out with this. Then when you now even become popular, everybody now looks to you. So you have to do other things that how do you explain to a family member that the reason you can't help them is because your accounting isn't in order? It sounds like you're being harsh and wicked.
Oh yes.
How do you explain to somebody that, you can't do this because your accountant has said that you made a loss, you know, last month, you know?
That's part of the discipline.
It's part of the discipline. So honestly speaking, I think on advising young entrepreneurs on what to do, there are so many apps now, you know, online, they are free, where you can input your expenses, your costs, what is coming in, and it will help you calculate everything, so that when you're coming to people like the Bank of Industry, you're coming correct.
Well informed,
the truth is that it won't be perfect. We still mix personal money. See, as a young entrepreneur, the truth is, my personal money still goes into my business. Again, growing it. You know, you didn't make so much money in the month and you still have to pay salaries. What do? You pump in, you know, that money. So I think I'm really grateful that I'm more exposed and more informed, because I feel like I can boldly go to the Bank of Industry now.
And I think just to build up on what you raised the question earlier concerning business advisory. What we have is 200 consultants, right, that have been engaged by the bank. We call them business development service providers. What they do is, even after we provide, they help, you know, the young people and the small businesses through putting together their business plan, because that's fundamental as well, through to get approval. Upon approval, just so that we can ensure that you're staying in focus, we have these BDSPs to keep providing you with an ongoing business support service.
That's amazing.
Which, you know,
So you pay, so does BOI pay for the business advisory services?
There are two parts to it.
Okay.
You know, if you want an ongoing, to get your loans to get approved, we pay them. Because we engage them, they're on retainership with us.
Okay.
But for an ongoing post-approval, that would be like an arrangement between the two of you. So,
that sounds good. This has been such an insightful discussion. I'm sure a lot of the audience has, you know, gained a lot of tidbits about how to go and block Mr. Yinka. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Bridge. And a huge thank you to our guest, Mr. Yinka Adegboye, the Head of Strategy and Corporate Transformation at Bank of Industry.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much, Chef Freg's.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's continue this conversation on social media, guys. You can follow me on @SmartMoneyRSF. See you next time.